Hi, how's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7, back again with another view from the van, and it's certainly a nice sunny view from the van today, and let's hope that's a good omen going into this weekend's game against those prawn sandwich eating plastic Manchester United supporters in Old Trafford. It's a massive game, it's a massive opportunity. Historically and over the many seasons, we haven't done great there, you know, barring a Kabay special, but I think we go into this weekend's game with a renewed sense of confidence, a renewed sense of belief, certainly with bucketfuls of hope. You know, Manchester United are not the Manchester United of recent, recent times really, under Ferguson and so forth. They have not got that fear factor about them, and although yes, they've got many quality players paid very nicely as well, they've not got the team spirit. They are the sort of opposite of Newcastle, and they are on a downward spiral at the moment that seemingly just can't seem to escape from, where everything in Newcastle United's garden is rosy and we're looking upwards, and it's a huge amount of positivity and everything. So yeah, clubs in polar opposite positions. We've escaped the sort of negativity of having owners that were despised. Obviously Manchester United do not, but look, let's make no bones about it. It is going to be a difficult game against Manchester United on the weekend, and it's going to be a difficult game, not because the atmosphere is fantastic, because it's not one of the most atmospheric stadiums these days, and it's not because, like I say, they've got great team spirit and they've got a winning mentality, because they haven't got that anymore. They've got certainly some cracking players individually, but as we've said many times, football isn't about the names, it's about the collective and the team spirit and the unity, and everybody rowing in the same direction. And that is what I think is really missing from Manchester United at the moment. You've got players who are sort of in it for themselves, you've got players who are rowing in definitely very separate directions, and it shows, it tells through results, it tells when they're struggling to beat teams who they should really absolutely obliterate, and and moans and groans from the fan base. So now I think is a perfect time to go down there. It will not be easy, but I think we've certainly got every chance to get points out of this game, whether it's 1 or 3. Newcastle buoyed on up by recent results, sitting comfortably in the Premier League. Manchester United and Newcastle, next to each other, but where Manchester United, obviously in their fan base, aren't happy to be where they are. Newcastle, after recent struggles, after recent battles with the ownership, are more than delighted with what's happening at our club. At the moment, they are missing a few players. I think there's calls for different players to start up top. They've struggled with that chemistry. Rashford's still not, again, hitting the heights, still probably letting off-field stuff sort of distract from what he could and should be able to do. But we go down there, we've got Wilson back, we've got ASM back. There's every chance and possibility, according to speculation, that our record signing, Alexander Isak, he will be on the bench. That's cracking news. And then we follow that up today with the Northern Echo speculating that with John Joe Shelby having a week's worth of training and his fantastic physical conditioning and everything else, that he could well be down with the squad who make the trip down south from Newcastle this weekend. So that is brilliant news, because there has been games where we've looked for something a little bit different, where John Joe Shelby could have made a difference and wasn't there. So to have him back, let's not forget it, in record time, he had an injury, and it was thought that he would be out until probably during this sort of mid-season break. That's when we thought he'd be back. So to be back so soon is absolutely fantastic, and it's credit to the medical staff, the investment the club that has made in that, and for the player himself, absolutely obsessed with playing football. And yeah, it would be great. It would be a great sight to see John Joe Shelby on the bench, and maybe, hopefully, I don't know, you get 5 or 10 minutes in the game. I think that would be really good, and psychologically it's going to give him a massive boost. But we have options, we have players finally coming back. That little blip where we're sort of turning into Drawcastle and we had players missing, we are getting those players back, and boy does it make a difference. And you look at the bench and you think, you know, there's options there. If the game isn't going as we need it to go, if the game's tight, if the game's close, with players we can bring on to change a game and try and nick a goal and nick a point or nick 3 points or whatever the case may be. So long may that continue. And it's no coincidence. The treatment room is clearing up. Results are improving. We've always said our first team can give virtually anybody a game. Look at the Man City game. Look at the Liverpool game this season. Our first team, our full strength team, can give most teams a run for the money. It's when you've got to go into the squad and look for some of the depth that it's still not quite there, because of obviously the mess that our new owners inherited when they took the club over from Mike Ashley. So things are getting better all the time. Players again starting to be linked, I've noticed, with moves to Newcastle United ready for January. So exciting times around the corner. We haven't got too many more games before we have to break up for this enforced World Cup break, when the players are going to be going to Saudi Arabia, it looks like, and they're going to be taking in at least one mid-season friendly during that time as well. So more on that on a later video, but more looking towards this weekend. And I do feel confident. I feel confident we can ruffle some feathers and get about them as we did. Like I say, we give Manchester City a game, and if you give Manchester City a game, with the greatest of respect to Manchester United, then we're more than capable of doing something against them. They're a little bit creaky at the back. There is vulnerabilities for the Manchester United machine at the back, and they are not clicking great going forward. And of course they're playing in the Europa League today, so again there can be injuries, knocks, fatigue and everything else to factor in to the equation for them, where Newcastle have had a clear run, like a total clear run at this one. Will Ronaldo start? I personally hope he doesn't, because he does have a good record against us. He's obviously not the Ronaldo again of years gone by, but he's still a very, very talented footballer and knows where the back of the net is. So hopefully he plays this evening in the European competition and he's maybe benched. There's a lot of clamour from what I've seen from the Manchester United fans to start Martial. So again, how the mighty have fallen. But whatever it is, whatever combination of players that there is, we've got to go into the game with a plan. We've got to keep it tight at the back. Then as the game goes on, play more and more of our football, get the crosses coming in, which obviously Kieran Trippier will be crucial to the game plan on this one. Get the set pieces, get the corners going in, and like we did when we got ahead by 1 goal against Liverpool, and then 2, which was totally wrongly chalked off, get our noses ahead and then just defend properly and see the game out. So yeah, this is the most confident I've been going down there probably forever, and it's just a great time to see them struggle a bit, when for so long growing up as a kid at school it was all the plastics, all the glory, but there's no more of that, is there? So yeah, from a Newcastle's perspective, it's great. Again, there's some big calls for Eddie Howe to make. A team that demolished Brentford last time out and did really well against Fulham. Do you make changes to that, or do the players who have come back from injury have to settle to start from the bench and then have an impact off the bench? I think Isaac, he'll be on the bench. If John Joe is fit enough, he will be in amongst the substitute as well. The one chance of a possibility of a change for me will come with Saint-Maximin, because he's got to be pushing now. He's had another week's worth of training and he'll be desperate to start. It's a great stage for him to be able to show his values and everything, and make a really, really positive difference for Newcastle United. So I've got a feeling that Saint-Maximin will come in, but apart from that, we will be unchanged. Very, very shortly we're going to have to start thinking about how we integrate Isaac into the system, into the Newcastle United machine alongside Callum Wilson. But Callum Wilson will start up top. Hopefully we'll get a good 60 minutes out of him and then make the change up top. But future weeks, future questions are going to be asked around exactly how we integrate both Wilson and Isaac into the team to get the best out of them. So interested to hear what you think about that down below. Do you agree as well? Just the one change, Saint-Maximin coming in and the rest of the team, staying the same shape. Target still on the bench, Byrne playing at left back. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section as well. And yeah, there has been some more stuff on Newcastle this week as well. Obviously, Darren Ailes has been talking to the media, and he's been on BBC Radio Newcastle as well, taking questions from the fans, taking questions from the ex-Newcastle lads through there, and some very, very interesting things came of that particular interview with regards to St James's Park and stuff, and I'll quickly touch on them because, like I say, it'd probably be one for a separate video at a later date. But I've listened to it back, and I have to admit I was really, really impressed. And we've talked about this, and this was one of our frustrations with the previous ownership, was the lack of communication from the club, the lack of any sort of direction or thought or competent plan. Now we've got somebody coming on and facing the difficult questions like renaming the stadium, expanding the stadium, moving to a new stadium and stuff, and taking them head on and all the time, all the way through, confirming that it will all be done through consultation, which is absolutely fantastic. Talking about new sponsorship revenues coming next summer with Saudi Arabian companies and stuff as well, I think is positive. Anything that generates the extra revenue to push the club on, for me, is absolutely fine. The stadium will always be St James's Park, but if there's going to be a company to sit beside that, then again, I'm all for that. Yeah, so like I said, he took on a number of subjects, and I didn't think he'd be as open and as candid. It came out that he'd been speaking to the press as well all day alongside Dan Ashworth as well, and literally no subject was off the agenda. And look, he spoke about the Sports Direct thing and Sports Direct Arena, and talked about how that just didn't get off the ground because basically there was no communication. It was just a man taking further advantage of a football club he already absolutely shamefully exploited. It will not be that case again, and we're sort of looking at, I think, more at the Barcelona model. So you've got the new camp, and then beside it, on all the the boards outside and stuff like that, you've got a picture of I think it's Expedia or something like that. So you'll have a company who sits beside the St James's Park branding at the side, rather than sort of take it over and anything else like that. And for me, it's all about the history of the stadium and what's gone on there, and the part of it plays in our life and stuff like that. And I'm glad that they've recognised and realised and appreciated exactly what they've got there. He talked about 108 bars around St James's Park, which is, I think, triple more than the next nearest one. He talked about the experience, and he also crucially talked about everything is through the eyes of supporters. He spoke about his times, using his experience from his days at Atlanta in the States, Atlanta. And said how much that he learned from that experience, and everything was through the fan experience side of it, and that's music to my ears. To be honest, I've been screaming out. You go to other clubs and they've got fan zones outside and music and this, that and the other. The internet is better literally everywhere. I think else you go to park. St James's Park, trying to get a fucking signal inside there is terrible. And he said that everything they are doing, they are looking at it through the eyes of supporters and then making it fit, because he said that will drive better business, more business in. And it's just refreshing hearing somebody talk about the club rather than Lee Charnley talking about slip-on shoes or fucking clip-on ties and stuff like that, because he's that level of incompetence. Again, yeah, refreshing, different. They're coming up with new ideas. Nothing's off the table. He spoke about the fact that the new front of shirt sponsors and everything, and he spoke about the commercial side of it literally being like 3 or 4 people running the entire commercial operation before with the remit of it's all about just surviving in the Premier League. And he's talked about, he's had to flesh out so many different areas of the club, since these lads have come in, fleshing out so much to be able to drive all this change to ultimately deliver trophies and European football and European trophies, as what's been discussed. And from a club that didn't take the cup seriously, from a one that just wanted really to concentrate on the league and not getting relegated. It is such a mind shift, it is such a change. If you haven't checked it out already, go on to the BBC's Total Sport page. It's on there, you can listen to the entire thing back, and like I say, you'll get what I'm saying about the not only just coming on and talking, which we never had at all under the Ashley thing, but just the nature of it and how it's just all about from our perspective. I thought was just so different and so refreshing, and just makes the future even more exciting for the football club, if that's actually fucking possible. You know what I mean? He's also talked as well about expanding the stadium. We're staying at St James's Park under whatever guise. But he said, look, it's a bit of a champagne problem to have the fact that people are knocking the door down to get into St James's Park. The demand, the waiting list for season tickets is that much. It's a champagne problem to have, but it is an issue that will be sorted out in due course. Again, he talked about the training ground, the exciting changes that we're making there, and he's talking about the fact that we need to make space for all these extra people who are coming in, for all the extra things that we need to drive the club on and everything. Apologies about the light again. What can I do? What can I do? It's either too dark or it's absolutely crazy light. But look, I've got some sort of light show going off at the back end as well at the moment. But yeah, appreciate you sticking with us whilst this. It's almost a bit like Molineux, when you go to Molineux and that mad light show goes off before the game. But yeah, sun behind us and stuff like that. Madness. But yeah, really good interview. Lots of positive things to come from it. He's promised more of the same and stuff as well. Different people from the club will always be there to communicate. Look, he said there might be rocky times, there might be difficult patches, but they will always communicate, they will always stand up, they will always explain and get the fans to understand what their sort of point of view was at that particular time. So yeah, as a fan base, I don't think we can ask for much more than that level of communication from the custodians. Transfers and stuff like that, they're still heavily involved in doing that. There's also spoke about, look, the pressure's on to not get a transfer wrong because of the amount of money that we're talking about on each of these transfers, because we're looking at a better calibre of player. He spoke about, if we want to get to a successful Newcastle United in the shortest possible time frame, the best way to do that is not make mistakes, not rush and sign the wrong players for the wrong money, the wrong characters and this, that and the other, and sort of upset what we've already got. He spoke really well and intelligently, I felt, about how if we get the right players in, don't make mistakes, we'll get to where the ownership group wants to be a lot quicker. He spoke about the fact that we couldn't do it the Manchester City and the Chelsea ways because of the FFP regulations and red tape that there is now, which obviously those clubs back in the day didn't have to contend with. You could have a blank piece of paper and literally do pretty much anything that you wanted to do with regards to recruitment, stuff on the stadium, the youth academies and stuff like that, whereby now it's just absolutely impossible. Because the Premier League basically would be like a fly round shit over any small detail, any small error that we make with our calculations and stuff like that. So we've got to box clever, and again they're bringing in people to be able to maximise the FFP situation and stuff like that. And it's clever thinking about the club, and it's it's a smart way of working, and again, so refreshing when you compare it and you contrast it to the previous ownership, who, let's be honest, we could have had a fucking blow up doll running Newcastle United as the manager, CEO, whatever whatever job title you want to give. But we could have had a blow up doll, and he would have been more productive and more astute at running a football club than Lee Bastard Charlie, the fucking news wet wipe if ever I've seen one. So yeah, it's a brilliant listen. I encourage you to listen to it if you already haven't. But if you have, let me know what you felt about it. Was the things that you were concerned about? The stadium naming or image or whatever you want to call it will be contentious for some. I was obviously very much against the Sports Direct Arena shit when Mike Ashley was further trying to fucking suffocate our club. I was dead against that, but I think if it's done correctly and in the right way, if it maintains the St James's Park side of it, I have no problem with the club trying to maximise these deals so that we can have a successful new era at the club, and I can finally see us competing for silverware and honours in the near future. That would be brilliant. It has been the one thing I've wanted to see since I've been at school, and yeah, year after year after year, that feels a fucking long time ago. So yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant interview and everything. So yeah, let me know what you let me know what you think down below. Also, let us know what you think and what the score is going to be this weekend. I've got a sneaking suspicion we might get a 2-1 Newcastle United away victory. That is what I'm going for. That's how I feel on that one. Do you agree with me, or do you think I've got it totally and utterly wrong? Let me know down below. Yeah, let us know as well how you think we'll look to reintegrate Isaac and Wilson into the same system. Are you excited to see that? I certainly definitely am. I can't wait to see both of them playing, but it's a big call. Who do you drop? Do you drop Mickey? ASM, does he have to be patient? Does he have to wait on the bench longer? I don't know. I'm interested to get your views down below. Or do we simply start one and then come 60 minutes swap round, or does one play one week, one play the other? Let me know what you think down below, and yeah, enjoy the game. I certainly will do. I'll be there supporting the lads, every header, every tackle, and great times. What a time to be a Newcastle United supporter, and who knows whether we could finish in maybe another position higher after the weekend. And after last season's struggles, you would not have thought this in a month of Sundays. And just finally, in closing, commiserations, Steve Bruce, out of another job. What's that? How many's he had? Fucking hell. So many losses. I'm surprised West Brom took so fucking long to pull the plug on Steve Bruce, Alex Bruce, and the rest of the fucking stooges that he likes to employ at every single club he goes to. Another paycheck, another payoff for a man who is incompetent, who's past his best, past his prime, whose football belongs in a previous generation. Hopefully now chairman up and down the fucking land get wind to this guy is the biggest fucking fraud going. Yeah, surely they cannot rack up at another club. I mean, how many has he fucking managed? Has he managed every single fucking club, over the course of his career? Because he's got no shame, has he? He's no shame at all. But yeah, he'll be spending his most recent payoff. He'll probably go and watch a bit of cricket and pop up somewhere here and there. And no doubt some TV company will have him on when we end up playing or something like that. That's what'll happen. You can guarantee it. Fuck me. Yeah, so looking forward to it. So take care, keep it tuned. I want to get finished and then get back home, and I'll speak to you later.